Star Wars Geek Girls. They're geek girls that like Star Wars. And sometimes cry.
Hello and welcome to Star Wars Geek Girl. I'm Zoe, and as usual, I'm here with Lizzy.
Hello,
We are going to be talking about Star Wars.
Star
So obviously, we
Wars.
have an amazing Andor to talk about. There's some news that just happened this week.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of crazy. So a couple days ago, Studio Ghibli posted a Lucasfilm crossover thing, and it was like,
Ooh.
what? And then the next day, like today, they're like, oh, we're gonna have a little short about Grogu coming out.
Hmm.
And like a couple weeks ago, the Italian Disney Plus account accidentally said that there was gonna be a Grogu short, but no one knew. So we're like, oh my gosh, Grogu short, and they're like, it comes out tomorrow.
Oh,
Uh, comes out Saturday the 12th,
interesting.
and they announced it today. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's a short. It's called Zen, Grogu and the Dust Bunnies. The little Zen thing in front makes me think it's maybe we'll get more of these, and it's like a Zen collection, hopefully, because that'd be cool. But it's
Hmm.
hand drawn animated, which I don't
Okay.
think Star Wars has had outside of Visions or the 2003 Clone Wars, so that's super cool. And it's a little short about Grogu and some dust bunnies by
I
Studio
wonder how
Ghibli.
long it took. I want to see the
Sure, it took a
actual like
while.
thingies.
Hand drawn animation is legit, man. Um,
Yeah, but it's easier to do nowadays.
I don't know, but Studio Ghibli feel like the type of thing that's like we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. You know what I mean?
Um, yeah.
For a
I mean,
short, not for a whole movie, but since it's a short,
yeah. I've
I don't know. We'll
watched
see.
quite a bit of so usually like what's it called? Like
Their
uh
movies.
well, they're movies, but also they're special features. I think that's what it's called.
Hmm.
That they have, and they do a lot of traditional stuff. But even now, like they, I don't know. I haven't caught up recently because it's all been like movies where they've made in like 19 somethings.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
you
This is
know,
hand
I'm
drawn. So
interested.
to me, hand like the fact that they emphasize hand drawn to me, that thing's like slightly more old fashioned way of anime. I
Hmm.
don't know. It's gonna be awesome. I feel like 2D animation does not get the respect it deserves all the time anymore. There's so little new 2D animation coming out outside of anime.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'm very excited. For this,
Yes.
even it's a little short. We love Grogu. I miss him. There's dust bunnies. They look like the little coal guys in what's the good movie with the
They're
little
soot sprites.
yeah, what movie is that though? That's what's it called?
They're in Spirited Away, and they're also
Yes.
in My Neighbor Totoro.
I was thinking Spirited Away. They kind of look like the little Spirited Away guys in the poster that they
Yes.
posted. So it's really cute. I'm excited. I wonder how long it's gonna be because it could be like a genuine short, but also Visions and Tales of the Jedi were shorts and they were like 20 minutes long, some of those. So
I
I don't know.
think if it's hand drawn, it's probably like not 20 minutes, but like a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah, but so they officially announced it today and it's coming out tomorrow. So when you're listening to this, it's probably already out. So you don't really need us to be
Yes.
telling you this, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah,
Still cool though.
very
Um,
cool. I'm sure
I'm
it's gonna be
excited.
adorable. They
I
also
only just
posted a
recently knew about
picture.
this.
Well, okay, I think everyone did except people involved because they
Yeah.
literally posted. I'm looking at it now. The Studio Ghibli Twitter posted the poster 12 minutes ago.
Ah.
So
Because I saw the notes and I was like, man, I really missed out
no,
on these
man.
things, these news. Because then I also got a text from my dad of the picture, and I was like, man, I'm really slow, I guess.
Boy, I mean, you know, they like teased the Lucasfilm thing a few days ago, and then, but yeah, they officially announced it. It says 13 minutes now as we're recording this. So
Wow,
yeah,
nice.
so
Okay.
I'm sure that'll be really
I've
cute.
Yes, I've been saying that like Ghibli should work um with Star Wars and just Disney in general since
I hope they get
they're
to do
cool.
a, you know, a bigger thing with Star Wars at some point. Hopefully, this is like the start of a relationship between the studios.
Hmm.
Because I think, you know, even just like give them a Visions episode or something, you know,
Yeah.
uh, I'm sure they can do great things. Yeah, Studio Ghibli Grogu tomorrow slash today
Hey.
or yesterday or 3 years from now if you're listening to this in the future.
Hmm.
How is it?
Is it good future? Are they still
How
making Andor? That's the important question.
has a Star Wars movie actually come out?
What's it like?
What's it like up there? Yeah. So yeah, Studio Ghibli,
Yay.
Star Wars. Um, Next we have Andor. Episode 10 came out a couple days ago.
Yes.
Spoiler-free thoughts. For me, oh my God, wow. Like amazing. I feel like I do this every week. Every week I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my new favorite episode. But like really, the show just is that good. And it just gets better and better. And this episode was amazing. And honestly, I felt like this episode was worthy of being the season finale, but it's not. We got two more, and I can't wait. I can't wait what to see what we're gonna get when we get there. Because like, if this is episode 10, like episode 12 is gonna be phenomenal,
Hmm.
and I'm fully confident in that. Like, Andor is yet to disappoint in really any way. And I love it so much. What a good show.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
it's it's beautiful. Uh, I don't know spoiler thoughts. I think all of the actors did amazing. Um, Cassian, especially, of course. Um, there are a lot of like interesting topics that came up. Just, how they jump back and forth from like Mothma and what's going on with Luthen and blah blah blah. I like the way they do that in general is also just really
mhm,
good because sometimes there are shows that do that and I'm like, oh, okay, we're back here. Oh, I'm lost. Okay.
mhm.
Um, so they just do that really well in general. Uh, Spoiler free. That's all I got because it was awesome.
Yeah, I want Andor to sweep at the Emmys.
Hmm.
I don't think I've ever genuinely thought like, not that I haven't liked other Star Wars shows, but I don't think I've ever genuinely thought like, oh yeah, this could totally like win all the Emmys for like everything. But I think Andor like genuinely, because it's not just even just a good Star Wars show. It's like a good show. Like you can put it up against any other serious anything. It's
Hmm.
amazing. We'll do
Yeah.
spoilers. Okay. So there's a couple
Yes.
different plot lines going through this episode. So we have Deidre, Mothma, um,
Very
Luthen,
little Deidre, I felt.
just a tiny bit of Deidre, just a touch of Deidre.
Yes.
She's still there. No
Hmm.
cereal. He's still crying.
Thank God.
He's crying into his blue milk over last episode, I'm sure.
I don't even think he is. I mean, he's just kind of
I don't know, man.
in his eyes, he was like,
What
that
a
went really well, you
that went
guys.
great. Oh my God, I think she likes me, guys. Um, So we have some Luthen, we have some little bit of Deidre, we have some Mothma,
Yes, the
and
Mothma was very interesting.
yes, and we have obviously Mr. Cassian Andor himself,
Keith Gergo.
Keith Gergo. Oh my God, they
He's
still
still
think his
Keith.
name's Keith Gergo. I didn't think about that.
You
Everyone
know,
still
that's
thinks he's
why
Keith Gergo.
that's why he wanted to get out so bad. He's like, I gotta
I
change
can't
my name.
I
This was a
can't be Keith
mistake.
anymore. I can't be Keith anymore. It's too much. What have I done? Yes, I think we can just go through like we did last time. That worked better, I think. Like each story. So start with Deidre because it's only a tiny touch of Deidre.
Mhm.
So last episode they created like a little trappy trap for some rebels with like a dead pilot they found, and they like, faked an accident essentially, and
Yes.
they was found, and they're like, okay, and the one guy was like, okay, we need to look into it to not be suspicious. It's like, good
Mhm.
point, guy. Good job on that, I guess. Um, I'm just gonna look through Wikipedia real quick, but I think that's it for
Yeah,
Deidre.
that's pretty much it. They were like, okay, cool. Now to
Okay,
plan our
great.
next moves.
Yeah, I think that bit, that little scene is mostly important for what we see with Luthen later. Do we want
Mhm.
Luthen or Mothma next? We have I made a little list on a sticky note here, crossing out Deidre. We got Luthen, Mothma, and Cassian. I feel like Cassian's last for sure,
Yes, I
right?
think we should do Luthen since we're kind of
Luthen
on the
next.
topic.
Yeah, Luthen because it connects.
Mhm.
You're right. You're right. So we don't get that much Luthen either, though he certainly steals the show when he is there.
Literally
He's
every time. I love it.
so we
But
get
she's
one little scene earlier in the episode where Clea, I like her. I wish we saw more of her one of the time. She's pretty cool. She's
Mhm.
interesting. Um, so she tells Luthen in the little shop, she says there's a mark on the fountain, which we can assume is some kind of code to meet someone. And she's like, she didn't say who. She's like, he wants a meeting. There's a rail gone. So I don't, he takes a rail as a signal, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Sure. Clea does not trust it.
Mhm.
And she tells Luthen, she says, you should like leave and I'll take care of stuff here on Coruscant. And Luthen's like, nah, I got it. I'm gonna stay.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. Then it isn't till just double check and make sure I don't miss anything here. It's not till very close to the end.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure because towards the end, we see one of the like Imperials that have been on that like ISB council.
Yes.
Like, where they plan out everything where Deidre like
Hmm.
and the other guy are fighting constantly. And she's coming up with all these plans. It's the I don't know his name, but he's Ginger. I have like a picture of him from the notes.
Yeah. Yeah, it is the last scene, sort of. We'll get that later. But it's basically the last scene.
Hmm.
And we see that it's that one of the guys. He's walking, he gets on like a little elevator. He like it's like all it's pretty cool, like spy, like top secret, like there's a hidden earpiece like behind a panel, like pretty cool. And
Yeah.
Luthen's like, if there's a trap or if you're setting a trap, press 215. But he's not setting a trap. Um, so as he's doing the elevator, Luthen's like, "Congratulations on your daughter being born," which is like a half threat, sort of, Luthen,
Yeah.
because it's like he's congratulating that his daughter is born. He's also like,
Being
I've
like, hey, we
I've
got
like
tabs on you.
yeah, like I've been watching you. I think because he mentioned earlier, like it's been a year since they really communicated. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a while. And so Jung tells Luthen about Deidre and how she'd be dangerous. He mentions she's looking for access, but I don't know if and she's trying to link things to Eldani, but I didn't gather that he knew Luthen was tied to Eldani or that he is Axis.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think so either. Because I
'Cause,
think
yeah,
they're in contact, but not like super best
like it's
friends
yeah,
contact,
not Luthen's not really telling him
which is
much,
fair.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, he's
Uh,
like he basically tells Luthen like everything that's been going on in Deidre's story. Like they're looking at Ferrex, um, like looking for the thief and all that sorts of stuff.
yeah, he literally says everything.
Yeah, and like shout out to that guy, because he was just there. I did not think he'd be a spy, but good for him.
Hmm.
And Luthen is like, oh, just like let her do that. She's wasting her time. Interesting.
Yeah,
Because she's
he's
like,
like,
she's not yet, not fully on to him, but she's getting there. So
yeah, she's really,
I
really
wouldn't.
close. So I think he should worry a little bit, but he's not
Yeah,
going
I think he
to.
underestimates her right now, or at least overestimates himself. And Luthen asks the guy, he's like, well, why are you here? And the guy says, he explains the thing with the royal pilot too. And he says the pilot was running supplies for someone named Krieger, who I guess is the leader of that particular rebel cell there.
Hmm.
And he tells him everything, like staging the accident and all that. And he's like, the Empire knows about their plan to attack some like station. Like you need to warn them. And Luthen is like, no, because his logic is if they suddenly didn't go through with the attack, then the Empire would know that they were onto them. The weird,
Yeah, weird
like
thoughts, but like it's
big,
true.
big brain strategizing here for
Yeah,
sure.
real Among Us time.
Yes, it's literally Among Us. Um,
Yeah,
and so John, the guy, then explains like he doesn't want to continue being a spy, not because he doesn't believe in it, but because like he has a kid, like he doesn't want to put them in danger. Blah blah
valid
blah.
reasons.
Yeah, and the guy's like, "Look, I gave you like all this information." He even says like he wants to leave the ISB too, so he's not even like kind of switching, even if it's harsh on it. He's like, "I'm out of like everything," you know.
Hmm.
Um, and Luthen is like not having it,
Yeah,
and Luthen's like look, like you gotta stay, like it's too late, like blah, blah, like we're all in it. And Jung is like, I've sacrificed blah blah blah. And Luthen's like, yeah, I know. Leading a double life is really hard. Which is nice of him to say, because he's also leading a double life. But
hmm,
then he's like, and Jung's like, well then like what are you sacrificing? And he has a phenomenal monologue. Like
yeah,
I can't do it justice. Like it was so
yeah.
good.
Pretty much, he was
Like,
just like, I've sacrificed literally everything, which
yeah.
is true. I mean, it's not, no one here is lying.
Yeah.
Um, which is, I,
It was
so good.
such a man, Skarsgård really put out the stops here. Like
Yeah,
incredible, incredible monologue. And the
yeah.
writers team did too. Like his delivery was great, but the writing and the actual words also, like everything.
Hmm.
Um yeah, man, it was crazy. And the episode ends there, so we don't know if this guy is actually gonna stay to be a spy. Luthen certainly is asking him to.
Well, not even asking, it was pretty much
He's
forcing,
pretty much like, yeah, like you don't have a choice, you know?
which is
Um,
sucky and
yeah,
might bite him later, but
yeah.
we don't
It's
know.
interesting because it is like, man, maybe be a little nicer to the guy who is in the ISB and knows,
Yeah.
you know? Because like, but also like that guy in the ISB has basically have to out himself as a spy to, so it's a interesting idea. But yeah, um,
It's an interesting situation.
Yeah, but yeah, that monologue, the performance, everything was amazing. Like, go watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
It was that good and very, very Star Wars. Um, my tweets about it got 0 likes, which is embarrassing, but
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
Very, very well done.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's
Um,
Luthen's story. We have one scene
next.
of Mothma too. The bulk of this episode was so much Cassian. Like obviously it's a show, and it usually is, but I feel like so much more than others. Like I feel like some
Mhm.
episodes we get less Cassian. This was pretty much all Cassian, save a few scenes. We got one scene of Mothma, and oh man,
That was it. I don't know. It was,
it was hard to watch.
yeah.
She meets that gangster we talked about last episode, Davos Golden, which is such a Star Wars gangster name. Like
Mhm.
honestly, A plus to Tony Gilroy and the rest of the writers coming up with these names. They're extremely Star Wars. Like
Yes.
shout out to some good Star Wars names here.
Hmm.
Um, they're very like I totally would have read this in a reference book when I was like 8, like very old school, great Star Wars. Shout
Hmm.
out.
True to Star Wars.
True,
Not
yeah.
like
Gotta
Tim.
Tim Carlo is Tim with 2 M's. Carlo is very old school Star Wars name. Okay,
Like Carlo is fine. Tim is not.
but with 2 M's in it, with 2 M's, I can imagine reading that in a visual dictionary.
No, make this that. I just don't like Tim.
Oh, Tim sucks, but Star Wars. He's a Star Wars. He's an old like George Lucas Star Wars name. You
Hmm.
gotta appreciate that.
No.
Um, yeah. So she meets with that gangster. It's her, Tay, and Davo. Um, and they like kind of do a little bit of small talk, talking about like the financial regulations and trying to figure out how to get her this loan. Blah blah. Mothma is talking about her charitable foundation. Also, Davo's like, oh yeah, I know Perrin, because of course he does. Of course,
Hmm.
Perrin hangs out with predatory chinchilla
People.
gangsters. Yes, also
Mhm.
that. Like, of course he does. Little spook. I hate him so much. He wasn't even in this episode, and I still managed to find an outlet for hatred on him.
Fair, fair.
So Dav is like, oh yeah, like I'll donate it for charity. He's like, I don't need like money, like money's not important to me. And Mothma's like she's like, look, like I don't want to owe you a favor. Like just name your price.
She was very
So,
forward today, but also
yes.
like it felt like she was maybe too forward because like I I felt like she needed to play it kind of like poker where you're not supposed to show like all of your cards, but it felt like she kind of did.
I just think
Mostly,
she's
I don't know.
desperate.
Yeah.
She's desperate enough where she basically has to show all her cards, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like she could have hidden some from him though.
I mean, she definitely didn't mention like the rebellion stuff or anything. Like it was at least the read I got it was she was kind of making it seem to him like she's just another crooked senator in some trouble. You know, to me, I didn't get the vibe that he was picking up on any rebellion stuff. I think she was
I
trying to just make it seem like she was trying to get some money for herself by saying it's charity, and he's like, a shady gangster. So he's like, oh yeah, I got you. I understand that.
I don't think it was that. I think it was mostly like she like when talking to a gangster, obviously I have no experience unless you count like Axel pretending to be one when he was like 14, 13. But that's different. But like
Exact same. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, of course. I think it, like, I don't know, it just was a weird way to do it. I honestly don't have the words for it at all. So I can't I can't say much, but I don't know. I feel like I would have handled it a bit more delicately and differently. Um, it just seemed like she was just like upset the entire time, which is like valid because she doesn't want to hang out with these like gangsters. But also, I don't know, I think she just needs to, like Saw, put her differences aside and, work with these people, even if she hates them, which sucks. But if it's like for the good of the rebellion and stuff, like I feel like she shouldn't seem so hostile. Um, but also it was more so of a like trying to just get to the point of this, trying to make sure that she doesn't owe him anything and both. So
Mhm.
like I understood it, but there was a few like I was like, oh, she could have said it like maybe like this or like I don't know. It was a weird thing. But I also sometimes over like so I'm very bad at like just I don't know. I'm just
I see. I didn't read her
I
as
think too
particularly
hard.
hostile until the end. I didn't feel like
Yeah.
she was all that hostile. I felt like she was very like she wasn't necessarily doing the flowery conversation. Like she was like, let's just name the price. Let's just do this as business, or
Hmm.
he was trying to talk it up a little bit more. Um, but maybe she could have engaged in more of the flowers, but I also don't think she was necessarily did anything wrong in not doing that. Like she could
Yeah.
have,
I
but
don't
I don't think she's planning to really establish any kind of working relationship even with this person. Like she just wants
mhm.
to do this deal and get out of it as soon as possible. Because
Yeah.
this is not someone who's going to be an ally to the rebellion, you know. So it's just like let's just get this deal done, just do it all business, and then go our separate ways.
Yeah, which is fair. Again, I don't think she did anything wrong. It was just like a like I was anxious that entire thing because I was like, oh no, don't say it like that. Oh no, don't make that face. But that was it. The gangster then was like talking like, no, there's no fee, no, not at all. I would like to come here every once in a while. And she was like, oh yeah, of course, that'd be awesome. Not really, but sure.
She's like, yeah,
Um,
we
and
could
then he
like
was like,
she's kind of like, oh, we can arrange that. Like that's all you want.
yeah. And then he was
Then
like,
he drops
yeah.
the bomb.
He was like, I want to bring my son. And I was like, no, no. And then she, you know, like very valid, got really angry and was like, why? Why do you want to bring your son? And he was like, well, just to have a meeting, have a what's it called? Like an introduction to your daughter.
Mhm.
And then
And he's like,
she,
oh, I don't want to do an arranged marriage. I just want them to meet. And
yeah,
it's like, but he's also like, oh, like your daughter's almost of age. Like,
yeah,
it's like, and he's like, oh, she's 13. It's like,
yeah. I was like, what?
dude, Chandrila kind of got some issues. I don't
Kind of
think
sucks.
Chandrila kind of sucks. Maybe the New Republic shouldn't have gone, shouldn't have formed around there. Maybe we should have gone somewhere else, dude.
Yeah, maybe we
He's like,
like,
oh, it's the
hey,
traditional way. And it's
Mothma,
like,
I
bruh.
know you're fighting for the rebellion, but hey, like maybe up that age in your freaking
I'm sure,
marriages.
based on her reaction to this, I'm sure she did.
Yeah,
Because she
probably.
obviously, because we know she had an arranged marriage at 14 and it
She
didn't go
talks
well
about
for
how
her.
she didn't agree with it.
Yeah, like it
Oh,
didn't go well for her. She didn't want it. She like immediately has a very, very emotional but very valid reaction of like, absolutely not. Like, get out. Um,
yeah.
and she's
That
like, I'm
was
not even
so bad.
honestly
Like, and
good
my
for
thing
like
was, go ahead.
good for her. She put
Yeah.
him down. She's like, get
Yes.
out.
daughter can't say she didn't do nothing for her.
No,
Um,
literally, and the fact, and the fact that her daughter's like a brat sometimes to her, good. That's a good mama there. Like, absolutely not.
which is also like, basic, what you should do as a parent. But
Yeah.
also like that's like, Mothma could have very been like, yeah, sure, of course. My daughter's a brat. I might as well. Like
Get her out.
get her, take her. Um,
Um,
but yeah,
yeah,
that was
man.
like, oh, when he said 13, I was like, oh,
Like, bro.
like I don't even
Yeah,
remember what
man.
I was doing at 13. I was like middle school.
I was like looking
I
up
was
Five Nights at Freddy's
scrunkly.
videos. Like, I was not ready to get married. I'm still not ready to get married. I was
Yeah,
watching Five Nights at Freddy's videos, dude. I'm not, no one wants to marry that.
yeah, I like I was scrunkly. No way. Like it was
I mean, I still look up Five Nights at Freddy's videos, but,
yeah.
it's
Well, you
hard.
should play it.
I'm too scared. I just like the lore. I'm too scared to play the game.
That's fair. It's very good playing though.
I get
Very cool.
scared.
The newer one isn't that scary. It's okay. Just jump scares.
See,
Um
that's what I don't like. I can do other kinds of scary. I don't like the jump scares.
It's fair. Um
They spook
yeah,
me.
that was bad.
Yeah, man. And she's like, I won't even consider it. And he's like, that's the first untrue thing said. And I was like, Mothma, I swear to God, if you actually do this,
I
man,
think I don't think it's a thought like, oh, well, maybe. I think it's more of a like, well, what would happen or
right.
like
Yeah.
like thinking it, but like not going to.
Yeah.
It's, it's kind of just an intrusive thought, if anything.
And it's hard because she's on the rebellion side, like her main rebel ally at this point. She has Bail too. We just haven't seen him in the show. But her main rebel ally at this point in the show is Luthen. And I feel
Luthen
like
would be like, do
Luthen,
it.
yeah, I feel like Luthen would be like, do it, you know? And Cleo would, I don't know if Vel would. Vel might not, I think.
I don't think
Um,
so.
but I feel like there's no one she has to like really turn to about this right now.
Hmm.
And
And in my head, I was like, oh, well, technically, if it's just an introduction, like maybe. But the problem is, since she is 13 and since she is easily swayed by,
her freaking
like,
dad is gonna be all
yeah,
over it, especially because he apparently
literally.
knows this guy. So her dad's gonna be like,
If the dad is like, oh my
oh
God, yeah, that would be awesome, then she would be like, oh yeah, totally. Dad says it's
yeah,
cool. Like, then it would, then that's where I was like, maybe not. Maybe not at all, actually.
yeah, and
But yeah.
and my worry is that because so the guy mentioned he knew Perrin. My worry is that Mothma's not gonna get her rebellion stuff. The guy's gonna worm his way in through Perrin, so it'll like she's still stuck with the consequence and none of the reward of if she had taken that course of action, you know?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, man.
That was yucky. Made
Thank
me
you.
feel gross.
Yeah.
And I'm not that I'm surprised, but I'm like, because that was, when Mothma was tiny, when she was 15. But does that mean that they lowered the age? Because she was like, oh, she's
Because she said
13.
15. She said
Yeah.
15 when she was married. Yeah. And
So I'm
the
like,
guy said his
they
kid's
just thought,
14.
yeah,
Or
they
maybe
just
they
thought,
just
oh,
mean
this
like,
is
oh,
better.
maybe they mean like they're getting close. They're both getting close to 15. So it's still 15 and they're just like oh, they can meet at 13 and 14 and like court or whatever and they get married at 15, you know?
Yeah, which is like, ugh. Well, still,
Yeah.
because in my head I was like, did they really think like 15 is not young enough?
Oh, 15? They're too old. They're basically an old hag.
Yeah, like no, we gotta make it younger. That's so, ugh. It's so
Yeah,
no,
dude.
yucky,
You
disgusting.
ever wonder what would happen if Bale had survived and Alderaan survived and they got to do the New Republic there instead? You know? It's like
Yeah.
Alderaan's got their shit together compared to Chandrilla. Um,
Yeah, I don't no, the thought,
Man,
no
Star
good.
Wars got, I guess, all these Star Wars planets got, because they're like, Naboo is like, oh, you're like 17. Aren't you a little bit old to be queen now?
Yeah, like they gotta
At least that's like,
think.
queen and not like married. I don't know.
Yeah,
In my brain, getting married at 14 is worse than being queen at 14. Maybe that's just me.
I
That
mean,
seems like weird now that I say it out loud. I feel like it's worse.
I think they're both bad. Like married is weird because it's like
I mean,
with
like when
queen,
Padme was queen, like she had like adult advisors, like wasn't just on her, and it was like a democracy.
yeah. Plus, as queen, you're
I think
not really
14-year-old
tied to a
girls
person.
could, yeah,
You're
I
just
think
tied to
14,
your whole like planet. But
and
yeah,
like you can like quit being a queen.
yeah.
They can like be
You
like,
can't
never mind.
like with an arranged marriage, I imagine that divorce is not really an option. Otherwise, Mothma would have done it already. I hope. But yeah.
Man,
The scary. Um, like I don't know. Because like marriage, especially, I guess for this situation, it's less of a, oh, well, I really like this person. It's like a business
but guess what,
deal.
kid? Get married.
Yeah, it's like it's not, I don't know. It feels worse because marriage is a whole thing. Like marriage is tough, like IRL. So I imagine just being betrothed or like arranged in Star Wars is like 10 times worse.
Everything in
Again,
Star
just
Wars is 10 times worse.
I mean, I don't know. I just it's not like 10 times worse like it's worse than like real life. More like fictionally they
Yeah.
can make it worse. They
No,
can,
I know what
like
you mean. Yeah, yeah.
the directors can be like, yes, it'll be like this, and there's these
It's
specific
gonna
rules.
suck. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see what the fallout of this is gonna be later.
Mm-hmm.
What Mothma's gonna do, and and I'm worried, like, Luthen's gonna be like, "You're not sacrificing enough for the rebellion,"
Yeah,
and
he's
it's
gonna have the
like,
same exact speech.
yeah, he's like pulls out, he's like, "Actually, I wrote this down." Like,
It was really good when I said it
he
to this one
practiced
guy.
he practices it in the mirror like every day. He has it
Hmm.
down. Um,
Yeah.
no, but like I'm worried, like if she talks to like Luthen or anyone about there, I'm like, you're not sacrificing enough, but it's really not her sacrifice to make. It's her daughter's sacrifice, and her daughter's not on board with the rebellion right now.
Or just
Um,
anything besides the dad right now. So,
no, she's not on board with anything besides her dad.
yeah.
So, um,
My dad, like we didn't really know her age yet, and my dad in the other podcast was like, "Oh, she's old enough to make her own decisions, like her own perspectives of things." And I was like, "She's 13."
well, I know anything at
Tiny.
13. I thought I know everything at 13. I know anything. I was an
She's
idiot.
tiny. Like she kind of, I don't know. To me, she looked like 15. Like maybe Axel age, maybe like a year younger,
I feel
but
like
13.
middle school to high school age range, they can vary so, like, with how old they look can vary so much with how old they are. Like I
Mhm.
knew, like I graduated in high school with people who looked like they could have still been in middle school, and I also graduated high school with people who looked like they'd been out of college. Like I feel like that just it depends on how puberty hits you and like how fast your everything ages.
Yeah, that's true.
So
It was just, yeah, yeah. That was weird. But anyway, Mothma refuses, and he leaves. So
bro, kill
thank
him.
God.
Poor Mothma, man. She got no one. She has Vel.
Yeah, and
And
Vel's
like
gone.
Tay, kind of. Tay set this up. Tay knew this guy. So I'm putting some doubt on Tay right now.
But it also didn't
Uh
seem like he was telling Mothma like, "Hey, it's okay. Like it's tradition, you know?"
yeah, no,
So
I'm not anti Tay, but I'm eyeing him a little bit right now. That's
that's
for
fair.
sure.
That's fair.
She
Just
is
keep an
Vel,
eye on.
who's, Vel is off doing Vel things, like, and no one,
Yeah, it's a tough life.
bro.
Like
Instead,
having like a double life pretty much, and then,
she has a
you know,
double life and she has no real allies or friends in either life.
mhm.
Like, no, there's no one,
And any friends that she is
like,
making, it's for the rebellion.
yeah.
So it's not like a buddy that you can be like, "Hey, let's get a drink today," or like,
Mhm.
"Let's play a game." Just
Yeah.
chillax.
And so, because, like, Lupin had his whole speech when he's sacrificing and stuff, and, like, the other guy sacrificing that, and Mothma sacrificing it, too. It's a lot of sacrifice.
Hmm.
Luckily, we know from other Star Wars they get there eventually, but still a lot for a really long time. So,
Yeah.
hmm,
So
well,
mm, she'll get there, hopefully. Do we
we know
know
she
if
does.
she dies anytime? Not soon,
Um,
but like in
well, she
any.
becomes Chancellor of the New Republic for a while. I think she has passed by the time of the sequel trilogy, but I don't think she's like killed. I don't think they've said like she had a terrible murder. Like I think she got old.
Okay.
You know, it's just fair. You figure like Luke, Leia, and Han were pretty old by um sequel trilogy, and Mothma's old enough to be their parents, or at least Luke and Leia's. So
Yeah. I
you
think
know,
dying like old age is the best you're gonna get in
in Star Wars,
Star
yeah,
Wars.
man, you're lucky if you get there.
Yeah, it reminds me of Last of Us 2, where Ellie is talking to Dina, and Ellie's like, "Man, we should die like that one guy on at camp." And she's like, "Of a stroke?" And Ellie's like, "No, just of old age. That'd be so nice." Like, because like they're like constantly living in everyday fear, and then for Mothma, it's just everyday like rebellion.
Hmm.
Like dying old age is good.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and
Mothma was
just
Chancellor, and then she retired. I'm not seeing if it actually says she died some point for the sequel trilogy. Oh shit, Chandrila blew up.
oh
So
well, we'll get rid of the whole planet. Okay.
honestly, obviously a lot of people died. Very sad. New Republic destroyed. Chandrila
It's fine.
had a lot to had a lot to work on.
Yeah. It's okay. It's all right. I mean,
Uh,
she might have
Not that it's
died there, but
not saying
still.
like where can we? Oh wait, hold on. Wow, I'm getting schooled on Star Wars lore right now. Chandrila was the capital of the New Republic, but okay, so Chandrila's not in the Hosnian Prime system. Never mind. Chandrila did not blow up.
Okay. Dang it.
Dang it. But I actually didn't know this. Wonder if I'm sure I read this somewhere and just forgot. But the capital of the New Republic rotated based on who was elected as chancellor or whatever, I guess,
Hmm.
or the place was elected. That's kind of cool, actually. It's not just Coruscant all the time, but also kind of annoying to move your whole shebang every election.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. All right. Well,
Anyway,
they're gone.
yeah. Cassian time. Yes? Cassian time?
Yes.
Cassian time?
Excited for Cassian time.
Yeah, this episode for Cassian, I mean, all the story arcs were like amazing, obviously as always, but I feel like Cassian, just while he was in prison, was like a little bit more in the back burner as far as being super dynamic. And then we got this, and picked it back up. So
Mhm.
Cassian and Kino, and it's picked up like right after the last episode where we left them. Um, so Cassian and Kino talk about like they have to do it tomorrow. Like there's a new person coming on the floor to replace Ula. So they're gonna use his
Who did die of old age, pretty much.
yes. Um yeah. I was gonna say good for Olaf. I don't know if that's appropriate. But
Yeah.
you know, and Cassian, they talk about how they have like their little plan to get out. Cassian and Andor kind of like tussle a little bit. I said
Mhm.
Cassian and Andor, Cassian and Kino.
Cassian and Andor.
Cassian and Andor, two different characters.
I think that also happens in his head though, to
Oh,
be fair.
constantly, for sure. Except I think it's Kino and Cassian, or not Kino. Fuck, Keith,
Kino, yeah.
Keith and Cassian.
Oh.
No, Kino. Yeah, man. All right, names. All these K sounds and C
You got
sounds.
this. Kino,
Oh
Cassian,
boy,
Keith, Koff,
Keith,
uh,
Kino,
Kino,
Cassian,
Keith, Cassian,
um,
Andor.
Clea. Yeah, man. All right. So they're talking about their little plan and stuff. Um, and then when they get back to the room, Cassian tells them what happened on level 2. And no one really believes him until Kino confirms it. So this is very much setting a precedent that like they believe Kino and
They
not
probably
not
believe and
Keith.
respect Keith. Kino.
They don't believe Keith, but
Yes.
they do believe Kino. And the next day they're working, doing their little thing. Cassian goes and he cuts that pipe we saw him cutting 2 episodes earlier, and he actually manages to cut through. So he
Yeah,
starts
I
like
do.
flooding the floor.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I liked like because of my spoiler-free thought. I really liked Keto's like performance throughout this
Oh
entire
my
show.
gosh. Andy Serkis, man, what an
Beautiful.
actor. He's, because he's so often doing CGI characters like Gollum or Snoke. And he does amazing performances with them. And he's, pioneer in CGI acting for sure. But
Hmm.
like when we do see his face, man, he kills it. What a performance here, for sure.
Yeah, it was
Um,
amazing. And then just like his performance through like, telling them about what happened on level 2. Um, like because he doesn't want to, not that he doesn't want to believe it, but like he just wants to be able to get out. And we emphasize this a lot in the last
mhm.
episode, but which is sad, but then he has to just snap to
Yeah.
reality.
His,
There goes
yeah, well,
gravity.
mhm.
And
Yeah, well, because
yeah,
Kino was under the like delusion really this whole time where it's like if I just do what I'm told, do what they want, they'll let me go. Like they'll give me
yeah,
mercy if I do what they want. And that's not the case. Um, and it's
yeah.
yeah. So
So he talks, he'd like, I'm guessing that they then talk about, okay, well, we need an escape plan.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Um, yeah, and Cassian cuts the pipe and starts like flooding the floor while there's a new guy coming down the little elevator. And then these two the other guys like fake a little fight to
hmm,
like be a distraction basically. And while they're doing that, Cassian is able to like stop the lift. and start
Yeah.
like climbing. And shout out to that new guy, bro.
Yeah, like
What a great guy. He didn't even know. He just got here and me like, oh, we're doing this. All right, and just pick up a pipe and just beans that guard. And then he gets like, I think he gets shot right after that.
yeah, he
But
does,
like,
but
shout out to that guy. Like for real, what a bro.
yeah,
We
because I would have been confused. I would have probably laid down on the floor. Like
he
I
like
wouldn't know what to do.
I would have like totally frozen up. This guy was like, okay, cool. Prison breakout? Sure. Like immediately. It's like,
He got
shout out to
shot
that
and
guy.
died, but like
He did.
it's okay.
But what a, what a way to go out, man.
Yeah. Respect.
Yeah. Shout out to that guy for real. Like that's what I saw him. I was like, yeah, good for him. Like,
Yeah.
not dying, the dying part, but like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he just immediately was like, okay, cool, I'm down. So major props to that dude.
Like I get it.
Yeah,
Um,
so while this is happening, the guards try to do the floor shocky thing. So they all climb on the tables. And the water on the floors makes them like short circuit. A few people don't get up on the tables.
yeah, on time.
They don't make it. But everyone else
Yeah,
does.
they failed the floor is lava.
Yes. So
Literally.
Kina leads everyone up, so they climb up out of the thing. They manage to take like the control room, take people out. They get some blasters. Like they very much like they're going and they're fairly organized for how rapidly this happened.
Mhm.
Well, because we obviously know Keith and some other prisoners had like been starting to plan something. But considering how many people were in on it that weren't in on it before now, pretty well happening. They managed to get to the other levels, have other people start to fight, and kill some guards and um do some things. Like they're really taking through the whole station.
Mhm.
So awesome to watch. They get to
Yeah.
the command center, and they point to the one guy and they're like, turn off the hydro generators. And the guy's like, oh, I don't have access. He does, like immediately. He knew it was best for him.
Threatens. Like, who do I have to threaten?
Yeah, and so they turn off the hydro generators, and they also mentioned that once the generators are off, it'll take months to get them back on for the floors. So
Yeah.
like
Which I was
they're
like, okay, good.
yeah, they're like, oh, but they're like, turn off. They're like, oh, but then it won't come on for a few months. It's like, yeah, buddy, do you think they want it to come on? Like, what?
Yeah,
Um,
sir.
like, yeah, man, that's the point. You figured it out.
Good job.
And yeah. So and really it was so amazing to see like everyone come together. It's very much what Star Wars is about. It's like everyone coming together against the evil. Just amazing. Very such a good episode.
Yes.
So Kino is able to take the microphone, and he also delivers an amazing monologue here.
Everyone's monologues are on point. I
Monologues, great,
congratulate everyone on their monologues.
top tier. Again, Andy Serkis absolutely killed it. Um, he tells them everything about level 2. He tells everyone like we're getting out, like kill as many guards as you have. Like they don't have enough guards to keep us all. Amazing
I
monologue.
loved
We also
seeing how
see
scared the Imperials were.
yes, I was just about to say that there's some shots of a bunch of the Imperials hiding and cowering, like just clutching their blasters behind a door with the lights off.
Hmm.
Um,
Which I would be too. Not
yeah,
gonna lie.
no, I've done school shooter drills. I was like, yeah, I've been there. Not with a gun, me having a gun, but
Yeah,
but it was
would have been a different story.
yeah, that would be very different. But yeah, it was like they were absolutely terrified. It was awesome.
Hmm.
And yeah, so they get to the top, and people are just the one guy. I think his name is like Ham. I think it's a guy named Ham. Is like because they're all like they're chanting like one way out, and the guy's like let's go, and he like jumps. They start jumping into the water and swimming away, and then Kino is like,
I can't swim.
he was like I can't swim. I was like no way, and Cassian looks at him, and before Cassian can even say anything, the rush of people jumping out actually push Cassian off. And it's a shame because, Cassian, I feel like Cassian would have tried to figure something out for him,
Yeah.
but he didn't get the chance, bro.
It just reminds me of that one. I can't swim. But yeah, I like because he
And
was looking
especially
out at
because
the water, and I was like, oh no, it's something. It's like there's a monster in there, or there's like it's
oh my
something.
God, that would be terrible, like a sea monster. Like, that would be
Gobble.
horrible.
Yeah, it was sad. He was like, I can't swim, and I was like, no. Yeah, I liked in his speech when he talks about like helping each other. Um, I thought that was very nice touch. Especially because he is like supposed to be this like manager leader guy.
Mhm.
Um, and that's just what he talks about is like helping each other. If you see someone like lost, just like push them and keep going
Mhm.
and help them through.
Get him to keep going, yeah.
Yeah, which
And it's
was
very sad, because Kino was the one that was inspiring them and leading them, and when it came to actually leaving, you couldn't. So
yeah.
I'm not. Well, I hope we'll see what becomes of Kino. Um, is
Hmm.
he? What happened? Did he jump and just drown, or did he
I feel
stay and get?
like is it like if you don't know how to swim, can you just maybe like float on your back and like have someone drag you maybe?
Yeah, I,
I don't
I I
know.
think it depends on how far you have to swim,
That's true.
because swimming, a long while is very tiring.
Hmm.
Swimming a long while and dragging someone with you is very tiring, especially in the ocean where waves might be against you, and
That's
I'm not
true.
sure. I'm not sure. Poor Kino. Hopefully there's like a ship lying around. He could just go take a ship.
Hmm. Or enough people were like, "Hey, you're cool. We're gonna drag you."
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I hopefully he made it.
Mhm.
Someone said maybe he got recaptured and the Empire experimented on him and he became Snoke. It's the same actor.
Became who? Oh, Snoke.
Because it's the
Hmm.
same actor. Not true, I'm sure, but a funny idea.
You never know.
You never know. Andy Serkis, Kino Loy could be Snoke.
Yeah,
That's my Snoke theory.
I like
Um,
it. I support it.
and and there's some beautiful shots from overhead of the prison with everyone swimming out of it. Really cool. Um, and then that's where it cuts, and then we get the Luthen scene. And the last shot of the show, right after the Luthen scene, just for like a few seconds, really, is Cassian and Melchi running on a beach. Um,
Hmm.
so I assume we're gonna see that relationship start to grow before we see them again in Rogue One. And it starts on a beach and ends on a beach. Unfortunately.
Ah, yeah. I did like that scene with like
Cassian,
the three
man,
moons.
Cassian just needs to. It was really pretty with me. Cassian just needs to stay away from beaches, man.
Beaches are
This
the death.
beach beach planets are not for him, dude. You go skiing or something instead on vacation. Don't. You're not a beach guy, I don't think.
No, no
I'm
beaches
sorry.
for you, Keith. I
No.
wonder what your new name is.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if he's like, Milshi's like, all right, Keith. He's like, actually, I'm Jabba the Hutt. Just keep it
Yeah.
going.
Actually, please stop calling me that. He
he
just
just
starts
break
breaking
he just
down.
he just breaks down. He's like, I'm not Keith.
I made
I
a
hate Keith
mistake.
so much. I was only supposed to be Keith for a little while and then I got arrested. It's all
Um,
coming down. I kind of also like, what if
call
they
me
go back to
something
like,
else.
what
Anything.
if they go back to like Ferrex or something and Melshi's like, oh, Keith, and then everyone's like Bix is like, Keith?
I
Like,
hope
I'm so,
someone asks him why. Why, Keith?
why Keith, man? Keith Gergo. Gergo. That's a noise.
Yeah.
Oh, Keith. Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well, that's the end of the episode. Um, it was amazing. What a great dude, this show. Every Andor episode, there's the time I spend watching the episode, and then there's the time I spend recovering from the episode and just like sitting and processing it because it's just that good every week.
Yeah. I did watch this one late because it has been a busy week, but I watched it today and I was like, ah, because it was just it's so good. I was at the store, and I was like, Keith, because it was Wednesday, and then he
It's
was
Keith
like,
time.
who's Keith? And I was like, Keith, Cassian,
Keith
it's
Gergo.
Wednesday. And then I got home and it was like time to go to bed, and I was like, oh, okay, tomorrow. But yeah, Keith, the man.
The
So
man, the myth, the legend, Keith
yeah, we'll
Gergo.
see what his new name
I want,
is.
you know how in Rogue One when they bring Jin in and they're like Liana Halleck, you mean Jin, or they like list like her old names. I want them to do that. Like
Yeah,
Keith Gergo, or should we call you Cass? And he's like, please don't call me Keith. Please don't call me like
please
anything with
never
Keith.
call me Keith again.
Anything with Keith.
I think that was a mistake. I was young and stupid.
Listen, we all make mistakes in our youth. Some people do drugs. So I called myself Keith.
Yeah,
You
might have
know,
been worse.
yeah, I feel like that's where, you know,
Yeah. But yeah, I I very much enjoyed this episode, especially the last scene was very good.
yeah.
Of them running. Yeah, very
Everything was
good.
amazing. We did have quite a few deaths. Unfortunately, I could not remember pretty much any of the prisoners' names besides Cassie and Melchi and Kino.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh no, that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So shout out to all the that guys that died. But still major shout out to that new guy.
Yes, I
Seriously,
agree.
he needs like a memorial or something.
Yeah, which
Like,
probably didn't happen, but you know.
no, I'm sure it didn't. But man, what a Chad. He
Yeah.
goes to prison and it's his first day in prison. He's like, oh, prison breakout? Sure. I'm
Yeah, of
down.
course. I understand.
You know, like some of the people who've been there for years were a little more hesitant than him. He's like, all right, I got my pipe. He didn't even know anything about the like not really getting out. He didn't
Yeah.
know any of that. He's just like, how? What a
Yeah.
dude.
And then he died. But like, rest in peace.
He did. Rest in peace.
Will be remembered as that guy.
Yeah, that new guy with the pipe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let's get a hashtag going for him on Twitter.
I'm sure he has a name. I'm sure they said a name. There's a lot going on, okay? I don't even know real people's names.
That's fair.
All right. Well, that was a podcast for Star Wars Geek Girl. You can follow Star Wars Geek Girl on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SW Geek Girl, and StarWarsGeekGirl.com. We have a monthly poll, book reviews, quizzes, blog articles, all sorts of thingy things.
Yes. For the Rogue Rebels, there's the roguerebels.com, Instagram and TikTok at the Rogue Rebels, Twitch at Rogue Rebels, podcast wherever you're listening to Star Wars Geek Girl, Facebook page, the Rogue Rebels, and Twitter at Rogue Rebels Fam.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
So thank you so much for listening. We can't wait to talk about Grogu and the Dust Bunnies, as well as Andor episode 11 next week. I feel like I'm going to feel two opposite ends of the emotional spectrum on Wednesday. We're going to talk about this, so yay. Thank you so much for listening. May the force be with you, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Star Wars Geek Girls. They're geek girls that like Star Wars. And sometimes cry.